Hey passionate Commanders fan. Today we'll analyze the challenges our team needs to overcome to come out victorious against the New Orleans Saints. With last week's bye, Washington has the opportunity to prepare and fix flaws, but the game in New Orleans is far from easy. The Saints, despite their irregular season, have the potential to surprise. So grab a coffee, stay with me until the end, and don't forget to like the video. Let's push the Commanders to the playoffs together. The scenario is clear. With a win, Washington will be practically guaranteed a spot in the 2024 postseason. Sounds simple, right? But it's not quite that straightforward. Despite their record, the Saints have shown they can be dangerous. In their first 2 games of the season, they scored over 45 points per game, proving they have an explosive offense when healthy. However, injuries and inconsistencies throughout the year have put them in an unfavorable position. For the Commanders, this means one thing: total focus and no room for errors. But it's important to note that this won't be the same Saints team that started the season strong. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Bub Means, and Taysom Hill, 4 important offensive pieces, are out of action. Additionally, Derek Carr, starting quarterback, is also injured and won't play. This leaves Alvin Kamara as the main offensive threat. For Washington's defense, the key will be containing Kamara and forcing the Saints to rely on less effective alternatives. Is our defense ready for this challenge? Speaking of defense, we need to talk about our offensive line. After some disappointing games, the unit finally showed signs of life against the Titans in Week 13. But now the test will be against a Saints defense that has been improving in recent weeks. Brian Breesy, for example, is playing like an emerging star, with 3 sacks and several key plays in the last 3 games. And if that wasn't enough, Carl Granderson and Chase Young, former Commanders, will be motivated to show up against their old team. Will our line be able to maintain protection for Jaden Daniels? The pressure on Daniels will be inevitable, but he's shown maturity beyond his years. The rookie has been leading the offense with confidence and is getting closer to securing Rookie of the Year honors. Against the Saints, he'll need to be quick in his decisions and rely on his offensive weapons. Our players have everything it takes to shine against a secondary that, although solid, can be exploited on deep plays. This is the moment for Daniels to show why he's the Commanders' future. Another crucial point will be defensive performance. Despite all the absences in the Saints' offense, Alvin Kamara is still one of the league's most dangerous players. Stopping the ground game will be essential to prevent Kamara from dominating the pace of the game. Additionally, our secondary needs to be alert to unpredictable plays. We know Taysom Hill is out, but the Saints might try something unconventional to confuse the defense. Dan Quinn has proven to be a smart coach, and his preparation will be fundamental to securing the win. Now let's talk playoffs. With a win, Washington will be 1 step away from qualification, an incredible feat considering how the season started. However, a loss could complicate everything. The NFC is an unpredictable conference, and every game counts in this final stretch. The matchup against the Saints is more than just a game. It's a test of strength and resilience. Do the Commanders have what it takes to go far? I believe so, but the performance in this game will be decisive. Are you ready for another decisive game? Jake Haener has been announced as the team's commander, while rookie Spencer Rattler will be on the bench, ready to step in if necessary. Haener isn't known for a powerful arm, but rather for his accuracy and processing speed. On the other hand, Rattler, although less reliable, has a stronger arm and can improvise when plays go off script. For Washington's defense, this means being ready to adjust quickly and not underestimating the rookies. Does our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr., have the right cards to confuse the Saints' young quarterbacks? Strategy will be crucial. Witt will likely alternate between sending more blitzes to pressure Haener and dropping back in coverage if Rattler is called into the game. The objective is clear: make the Saints' quarterbacks make quick and hopefully wrong decisions. The defense needs to force turnovers early, shaking the opponent's confidence. And let's be honest, 1 or 2 mistakes from these guys could seal the game in our favor. But be careful, if we let Haener or Rattler gain confidence, it could be a long day for the Commanders. And speaking of challenges, we have to talk about him. Alvin Kamara. Yes, the Saints' veteran running back isn't the same as a few years ago, but he's still one of the biggest offensive threats. Kamara has already had 8 games this season with over 100 total yards. He hasn't found the end zone since October, and our mission is to ensure that streak continues. If Washington lets Kamara dominate, we could be in trouble. But we know our defense is capable of containing him. Do you believe that? Beyond Kamara, the Saints' offense is limited. Without Derek Carr, Chris Olave, and other key pieces, New Orleans will depend on names like Marquez Valdez-Scantling and tight ends Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau. While they're talented players, they don't have the same impact as the stars who are out. This gives Washington a golden opportunity to control the game's rhythm. But, as they say, underestimating your opponent is the first step to defeat. It's time to play serious. Now, one thing that always makes me nervous is our offensive line. We've had some ups and downs during the season, but now there's no room for errors. Brian Breesy of the Saints is in great form, with 3 sacks in recent games. He and other defenders, like former Commander Chase Young, are ready to cause havoc. Will our offensive line hold up against the pressure and give Jaden Daniels the time he needs to make his plays? I want to believe so, but this is a critical point that needs to be closely monitored. And speaking of Jaden Daniels, what a season he's having. The rookie has been a true revelation and, in my opinion, is the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. Against the Saints, he'll have another chance to prove his worth. But it's worth remembering that the Commanders' passing attack can be lethal. But everything depends on how Daniels handles the pressure. Another point we can't ignore is the team's mentality. After a bye week, the Commanders have to come out strong, not letting the Saints feel they have a chance. A strong start will be essential to control the game and avoid surprises. After all, we're talking playoffs. Every decision counts, and every mistake could be costly. This is the moment to show why Washington deserves to be among the best. Now, we have a story that will touch any fan's heart. Imagine stepping onto the field against the team that traded you, that said you weren't essential anymore. That's exactly what cornerback Marshon Lattimore will face this Sunday. One of the NFL's greatest defensive talents now wears our jersey and is ready to show the New Orleans Saints what they lost. And you won't want to miss the details of this emotional revenge narrative. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because here you'll stay informed about everything happening with the Washington Commanders. Marshon Lattimore isn't new to performing at a high level. Since his Ohio State days, he's shown he's one of the best at what he does. But something changed this year. After 7 seasons with the Saints, where he was selected to 4 Pro Bowls and recognized as an elite defender, Lattimore found himself changing uniforms. Now, he's a fundamental part of our roster. And guess what? His debut with the Commanders will be against the team that traded him. Coincidence? Maybe. Extra motivation? Definitely. In an interview this week, Lattimore made it clear the game has special meaning for him. "I'd be lying if I said it didn't. They traded me," he said. "I'm coming back to show them why they shouldn't have done that." You can't help but get chills from that statement. He's a player with fire in his eyes, ready to prove he's still one of the league's best. And if it depends on Commanders fans, we'll be there to support him on every play, showing that he's now part of our family. Looking at the history, it's clear the Saints didn't doubt Lattimore's talent. But after 2 seasons dealing with injuries and appearing in only 17 games, the franchise chose to trade him. In exchange, they secured 3 picks in the 2025 draft. For the Saints, it was a bet on the future. For the Commanders, it was an opportunity to bring in an elite defender who could change the course of the season. Who came out ahead? That's a question only time might answer, but Lattimore seems determined to give an immediate answer this Sunday. It's important to remember that Lattimore has already shown this season that he still has much to offer. Before being traded, he played 7 solid games, proving he's still a high-level athlete when healthy. This matchup isn't just about Lattimore, it's about what he symbolizes. A team that believed future picks were more valuable than him, another that saw his potential and decided to take a chance. And now the stage is set for Lattimore to show which side really benefited from this trade. If he shines on Sunday, the immediate impact will be undeniable. But to decide who won this deal, we might need to wait a few more years. The question is, can Lattimore turn the game around already in his debut against the Saints?